This is Marketing Jam, a podcast featuring the brightest minds in Canadian marketing.
All right, why don't we start? Share your name, your role, and the company you're with.
So James Connell, I'm the VP of e-commerce and marketing at Roots Canada.
Awesome. So James, to start it off, I'd love to know what are the apps that you are in love with right now, and the apps that you can't live without?
What I'm in love with is Waze.
Okay, nice.
It definitely cuts down on congestion, obviously, in Toronto.
Yeah.
What I can't live without is Instagram, Air Canada, and Apple Music.
Okay, nice. So Waze, why that over Google Maps?
It has more personality.
Yes.
I feel like it's more interactive.
Yeah.
And also it feels like you're part of a community, and I don't really love driving at all.
Yeah.
And sort of makes it into a game, which is sort of fun to me.
Yeah, you upgrade your character and you collect a little candy.
Exactly, and also you see parts of the city that I'd otherwise never see.
Yeah.
And so with Google Maps or Apple Maps, I'm probably going to go for the major streets as opposed to I see some pretty cool neighborhoods just by the chance of walking or driving through. So I think it's it makes driving more interesting to me. Yeah. Ultimately, I don't like driving.
Okay. What kind of pictures do you post on your Instagram?
Pictures around the company and what we're doing, obviously.
Yeah.
Pictures of my family and friends. A lot of pictures of my stepdaughter as well. So, it's a bit of my blend between work as well as play as well.
Okay. Nice. And do you have some accounts that you just love that you follow right now?
On Instagram?
Yeah.
A lot of memes, which won't list them.
Okay.
But then obviously
our friend Jerry, you follow Jerry?
Yeah, I do that too.
Yeah.
Also, a lot of brands as well.
Yeah.
Just to try to figure what's going on, and then a lot of travel as well.
Okay.
Just sort of trying to figure out where to be inspired to go to next.
Okay.
As opposed to going to the same place over and over again.
Okay. I was really excited about this interview just because I mentioned to you earlier, my first ever real business bag is from Roots.
Me too, actually.
Okay, it was from my wife. She said I got to stop wearing backpacks to meetings.
Yeah, your wife didn't buy me a bag, so we're all good.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry. So Roots is close, and I think Roots is close to a lot of Canadians' hearts. Yeah. Whether it is the, I have a scarf, what it was for the Olympics, and the connection to the Olympics, and the long history there, and just the great tradition of quality clothing. Mm-hmm. My wife loves, we have 3 little kids, and any sort of Roots jogging suit outfits means it's a comfy outfit.
Awesome.
Right? So you have this great tradition and this great reputation. And we're looking into 2018, right? And I know a lot of speakers were looking into their crystal balls, looking into the future. What does that look like for Roots right now? What does 2018 hold when it comes to marketing and PR and the retail experience?
Well, it talks about the fact that we're advancing our renovation activity in Canada, so we're renovating a tremendous amount of stores. We're also
How many stores do you have right now?
Around 120.
120
in Canada, and another 130-ish in Asia, and a combination of Taiwan and China.
Wow. Okay.
So just sort of trying to figure out how to make. Sorry, my phone. This is the one thing that they tell you not to do.
It's okay. It's part of you.
Yeah, exactly. It's part of me.
You.
I need my iPhone.
Yeah.
But sort of engaging more with the sales associates to really try to understand how to provide a great customer experience.
Yep.
We're looking at doing a lot of rollouts when it comes down to a new store format. Yeah. So our first one was at Yorkdale. And it's something that's really a 20% focus on experience and 80% focus on commerce, which is unique to us. Yeah. And we have four in market right now, and we're launching stores in Boston as well as Washington D.C. And then a couple in Calgary, Alberta, as well as Halifax this year.
That's really exciting. Very cool.
So a lot of that is, and sort of trying to make sure that we're blending digital with physical as well. So by the end of April, we'll be upgrading our website to have a much more local focus when it comes to what's available in your local store.
Oh, nice.
And interact with that in a different way, as well as the fact that we're launching a loyalty program and a digital wallet to try to really blend physical and digital as much as possible.
Wow. So when you talk about the 20% experiential, what does that look like for someone to go into that store?
So a combination of special events, because everyone likes a party.
Oh, yeah.
But then also we have different murals in our change rooms, so they're more Instagram friendly.
Yeah.
We have a interactive tablet where you can personalize jackets and bags.
Nice.
We have an initiative where you can go to the the bag wall, and you can start to, when the process actually of doing it where you can go on your phone and use sound beacon technology, and you'll be able to see how your bag is made and by who.
Wow.
We're looking at a lot of different things when it comes to digital wallets, and trying to identify the consumer in a better way so we can actually do in-person marketing as the consumer traverses through the store as well. So that, and a combination, in fact, Yorkdale specifically, we pushed out the storefront about 5 feet so you can get natural light in.
Oh, nice.
We have canoes in the rafters. So when a lot of consumers tell us that they're going to Roots to sort of escape the mall, we feel like we've developed this home that they can have this experience that makes it feel like they actually have left the mall and they've gone to a cabin up north.
You could have some nice incense, like fir incense burning, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
That might be a bit too much, though.
Maybe too much, but the malls don't really like us to burn things.
No.
But at the end of the day, I think the leather smells really great.
Yes, leather's amazing.
So let's go on that.
Yeah. Perfect. Is this a Roots jacket?
It is.
I imagine. Okay. Yeah.
Custom.
Really?
Custom. Yeah.
What was custom done here?
I did so the shape is different.
Yes.
I'm small, so it's it fits me better.
Yeah.
And then also I wanted to do one with no logos.
Yeah.
So it's completely clean, no logos whatsoever.
It's a nice look.
But I have lots of other ones with tons of logos.
Yeah.
They were only specifically for me. So I've got my initials, I've got flags, I've got all sorts of things. So when you go in one of our stores,
I want one of those.
So go to Yorkdale.
Yeah.
And you have up to 4,000 options in I can't remember how many colors.
That's so cool.
And leathers that you can actually develop for fit your own aesthetic.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and it's all made here in Toronto as well, which is great.
Really? And Vancouver eventually may have this as well? Do you think?
Vancouver has it at our Pacific Center store.
Wonderful.
So you can go there and actually you can see that sort of enhanced experience design at the Pacific Center.
Okay.
Because that's our third store around the world that we opened with that store design.
Okay. I was at the Guildford Town Center store last week, and I didn't see that, but I saw the nice bag wall.
Good.
Which was cool.
Well, that's good to see.
Yeah.
But the store design is really new. Actually, it's been nominated for a Global Shop award that we found out in the end of the month in Chicago whether or not we won. So we're really excited about that. Thank you.
And when you do those parties, the experiential events, how do you measure the success? Like, how, reporting back to the shareholders or your bosses, like how do you tell them like this was awesome, whether it's quantitatively or qualitatively?
From a party perspective, really, typically the objective is educate consumers or the people that are there about some objective. So whether it's the launch of our Sweat Style campaign, for example, where we really promote Canadian artists. So it's a number of impressions for that campaign. It's trying to understand how many people actually see it and what their reach is, and then what media outlets pick that up.
Okay.
If it's something that's more directional around a specific product, so for example, last fall we did an initiative at an ice bar to try to demonstrate the capabilities of our down-filled packable jacket.
Was that at Whistler?
No, that was at, would have been great if we went to Whistler, but we're at a nice bar in downtown Toronto.
Okay, cool.
So we took people and essentially put them in a big freezer, gave them really cold drinks, a toque and a pair of gloves and a packable jacket, and said, okay, have fun, Instagram away, talk about, and people were really excited about the fact that they had this really light packable jacket that they could take with them on their travels wherever they go. And they were really, not only having an experience, but they were getting to demonstrate the features and benefits of that jacket. Awesome. And then those people, we obviously measured the capabilities of those people to, share out the information to their audiences. And then we tracked that back to online sales and sort of did some hypothesis around what that would take impact to in-store sales from there too.
So you give them like maybe a Bitly code or a discount code or something like maybe. Okay. Okay, that's really cool. And when you're doing these types of events, how do you vet who comes to that? Like, do you use you go an outside agency? Do you guys do it yourselves, or
combination of both? Okay. So there's we definitely have people who are highly engaged that we know and know personally. Yeah. But if we're going into a new market, then often we don't know the people as well as we do here in Toronto. So we'll engage with a local PR agency or just a notable person who we feel like is influential and loves our product. So they're gonna, obviously if they like that person, then hopefully they're gonna like the product too. So we really want to have authentic experiences with people that love the brand. We don't want to pay for someone to come to our party, which some brands do, and there's valid business reasons why you would do that. But we feel like we're not in a situation where we need to do that. So it's we're having a party. We'd love you to be there. If you want to be there, great. If not, that's okay too.
Douglas Copeland.
Yes.
Collaboration.
Yes.
Amazing.
Thank you.
It just again reiterated that you are a true Canadian staple.
Yep.
You picked our true Canadian staple: author, sculptor,
Yep.
artist, whatever you want to call Douglas these days, whatever he's up to. And tell me maybe some of what you thought of the collaboration or what it was like for Roots to do that.
That was amazing. Actually, it was probably one of my favorite projects I worked on in my career at Roots. It was something that we were able to do something so avant-garde, but then so on brand all at once. So we did a jacket that was going to be for the 100th anniversary of Roots that Douglas designed for us, and it was this crazy silver leather with astrological signs and robots and all these things. So we were able to push things out to a degree that, theoretically maybe people would be wearing Roots like this in the future. But it also was a big narrative about the fact that Canada was really a connected country. And we did a video series about the whole, his hypothesis about the fact that we're a young country and we're trying to engage with people across the country. And we need the telecommunication to bridge the gap between distances. And so as a company that really connects people to product and connects people in a family together, a lot of times we really felt like that was an important initiative. And frankly, we won almost won an award, but we felt like we won an award on the website that went behind that, because we were nominated for a Webby for art up against the Metropolitan Museum of Art, Google, Adobe. And here we are, this small Canadian company that are up against these titans of the space. And so it was a integration at the time. It was in Flash, which made sense. But it was one of the first times that a retailer had an integrated Twitter real-time, YouTube real-time, and every time the website reloaded, it would repaint itself in a unique format that was very representative of Douglas's art. It was cool. Amazing. It was very cool.
I'll give you an award. I'll give you the Darian Kovacs Fan Appreciation Award, because I love Roots and I love Douglas Copeland, and it was so cool to see two worlds colliding.
Cool.
And and he's just great to work with.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's a great individual.
Yeah. So looking at the world around you, what are some clothing brands or even just brands in general that you're following and other people should be taking note of?
I'm not going to give you clothing brands because I feel like everyone should be following Roots.
Yes, yes.
Hands down.
Yes. That's just assumed, of course.
Yeah, of course,
obviously.
Of course.
Yeah.
I would say, looking at the travel brands, the travel industry, I think that's a lot of, Hyatt Unbound is something that's really interesting. So there's a bit of a challenger to Airbnb. Airbnb, obviously, and Uber and all the things that are going on there, and just making sure that they're operating they're at their peak of their game, but what happens next? And that's sort of. It's fun to watch companies on the rise, but also fun to watch companies. You never want someone to stumble. But everything that happened with Facebook and fake news and everything else, you sort of see that it's really easy once you're at the top of the game to sort of fall off that and sort of lose focus because you become so big that it's hard to have the same attention to detail that you need to. And so, sort of long answer to a very short question, but I would say I also like Apple. And Apple, just watching everything that's happened since Steve Jobs has left, and just watching the fact that the devices, HomePod is coming out now, and what that potentially could do to your home is pretty cool.
So, with the whole search and the voice search, what do you see that for Roots? Are you guys connecting that with your retail experience?
Yeah, we're starting to think about what that means. Do I really want to talk to Alexa and order a pair of sweatpants? Maybe not. But maybe when I wake up in the morning, I sort of subscribe to what's going on, what the new products are and promotions. That could be something. We're also investigating chatbots to really give you the information about in-store inventory position as well. So being able to go into a store, whether you're a sales associate or a customer, and say, hey, do you have that pair of boots in a size 9 in gray, for example? So the sales associate doesn't have to go to the back room to check. If the sales associate isn't available, I can do it on my own. And the chatbot will actually tell you, well, yeah, it's on the 3rd floor. If you can't find it, a sales associate will help you.
That's awesome.
So you can take that experience and put it into a voice situation very easily. So if I'm doing my Christmas shopping, I can just talk to Alexa or whoever, whatever voice interface you want to talk to, and start to communicate back what you're trying to buy for Christmas and do your whole shopping that way. So it's something that I think is a little early right now. Our customers aren't quite there. But it's definitely something that, me personally, I love to play with that stuff, and so we're trying to figure out how to do it.
That's awesome. So people that are listening to the podcast, watching the show, wanting to know, how do they get to be in the role that you're in? What does that look like? What is it? School? Is it experience? Or what's one piece of advice you give someone to one day be like you?
Be curious.
Okay.
I mean, I ended up at Roots in my role not because I went to school, because when I went to school, I went to art school. And when I went to art school, it was real artists didn't work online, and that was the early 90s. I came back to Canada and I didn't have very much winter clothing. Saw a billboard literally with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck because the company had done that campaign, and saw, oh yeah, they're wearing leather jackets and it looks warm, and I haven't worn Roots in a while, and in Canada it's the perfect brand. I'm going to go there and see if they're hiring anyone for Christmas. So they said, ultimately they said, you know what, we've hired everyone for Christmas except for one job, stock guy. Do you want it? And I said, well, I can do anything for 8 weeks.
Yeah.
So I went and started the stock room at Roots.
It's awesome.
And 8 weeks later, I met some really cool people, and they convinced me to stay.
Okay.
So it wasn't, I was one of the first people that they hired when we went to e-commerce enabled and helped build the e-commerce business for the company.
You're that guy.
I'm that
Stock
guy.
Boyd and
Yeah, it doesn't happen very often. I mean, I've been with Roots for 20 years, and it was only supposed to be 8 weeks. So to tell someone how to mimic that journey, I don't know.
But I like the advice. Stay curious.
Stay curious. Realize that if you don't know something today, you'll know it tomorrow if you're interested.
Yeah.
And just do what you love. I love what I do, and I love the people that I work with. I couldn't find a better group of people to work with, because ultimately I sort of hire in the initiative of everyone who works with me, they have to be an expert in their field.
Yeah.
Great. They have to be curious, and they also, I want to go out with a beer with them after work.
Yeah.
And that means that everyone creates this great family of people that are super supportive and always willing to be up for the next challenge. We did this event this fall called Northern Light, and it was this blend of fashion, digital projections, and location-limited e-commerce. And it was at a room in front of 800 people, and then we broadcasted it online to upwards of over 1 million people. And it was something that, for our knowledge, we'd never done it before.
Yeah.
Well, we'd never done it before. We don't know of anyone who's done it before,
Yeah.
frankly, to that degree.
Yeah.
And with the integrations that we did, and we did it in 8 weeks.
Wow.
And you can't do all of that without a really dedicated, focused team that say, you know what, we're up for the challenge. We want to do something new. We want to build something better, and we love the company we work with, and we love the people we work with.
Yeah.
So to watch all of that come together,
Yeah.
and the fact that the original idea was mine,
Yeah.
but they ran with it and took it to places that I could have never have done and even imagined when I came up with that idea. And the fact that we did that in a short period of time, and it was so successful, just goes to show the fact that there's a lot of opportunities out there. You just got to grab them.
Yeah. And you don't have to answer if you are not comfortable or not allowed. I'm not sure. But the Olympics, can we talk about that? And are you often questioned about why aren't you doing the Olympics anymore? Your stuff was so awesome, and we're sad.
Well, I mean, it was probably honestly the best thing that ever happened in the company to move on from that.
Okay.
Really, it came down to the fact that we were so focused on an event that's 2 weeks long. That we lost focus of the brand, and really, it takes a tremendous amount of resources for a company our size to do something like that.
Okay.
So when we were no longer doing the Olympics and HBC outbid us significantly, it was a situation where it's like, okay, how do we refocus and become who we really are?
And then that's Douglas, that's the Northern Lights.
It's all these different initiatives where we're selling product with our own logo and our own trademarks on it, where we don't have to pay a royalty. And we can sort of initiate different engagements. Like, for example, for Canada 150, we did a partnership with We, and we raised $150,000 for Indigenous youth empowerment programs.
Wow.
You can't do that sort of thing with the COC.
And that burden on your backs.
Right. Well, I wouldn't say a burden. I mean, you're supporting amateur athletes, which is definitely a good cause.
Yeah.
But it's only one cause.
Yeah.
And so to be so focused on that one cause limits your ability to pivot throughout the year and really focus on initiatives or causes that you feel are right for the time as well as right for your customer, and you frankly believe it.
Okay. Best book you could recommend to someone in marketing or retail?
Best book. I really love reading Fast Company.
Okay.
And I know it's not a book.
No, a magazine. That's great.
But the world is changing so quickly. That by the time I read a book, it's I find it boring, and it's a lot of times out of date.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I wrote a book and then published I've co-created a book, and it's like, after it was published, I was like, oh, well, I don't think the same way as I did 3 weeks ago, because I read 15 articles and sold, a couple thousand sweatshirts.
Yeah.
And it's not that way anymore,
Yeah.
because people, Apple just released this new device or a new feature, and everything's changed now.
Yeah.
So, digital means and digital publishing, I think, is probably the way to go, and I guess that's really a book, even though I don't always think of it as a book. But I would say, podcasts actually, not to give a shameless plug.
It's perfect. We're on a podcast right now. So,
yeah.
do you have a favorite podcast or a couple that you would recommend?
I don't know that. I would say, obviously yours, but I wouldn't say that I'm attached to many right now.
Okay. Yeah. You're listening to different ones. You're not exclusive to one podcast.
No, I'm not monogamous.
Yeah, okay,
on this
that's
one.
okay, that's okay.
I really, I look at the fact that, and it's funny, I'll go and almost do a roulette of podcasts.
Yep.
Just because I want to surprise myself.
Yeah.
And, going back to the topic of I hate driving.
Yeah.
I'll drive and just flick and go through the podcast and just randomly start one just to make life more interesting and
I like
different.
that. Sometimes I order something from a restaurant and have the wait person bring me a surprise.
I'm not that far.
Yeah, okay.
I'm pretty particular with what I eat.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. That's when things get a little crazy. But sometimes I'm more like Olive Garden. Like there's 4 different soups for the all-you-can-eat soup and salad, and she'll bring you one of those 4 soups.
Actually, I've done Surprise Me in a situation like that. So I guess I can't say I haven't done it.
Adlandia is a good podcast on the ad world.
Yes.
With Scott Stratton. What's his called? The Unpodcast? What's it?
Yep.
Uncast? Yeah. Under the Influence is the nice CBC one. Those are some good kind of like marketing ones. But I'm always curious what people are listening to these days and what they're finding interesting.
It's funny. I have ADD with this sort of thing. Yeah. And I sometimes I think we get so focused on the person that's delivering the content rather than the content that's being delivered. Yeah. That we give more credit than credit's due sometimes. And so for that reason, I don't focus on one that I actually subscribe to. Yeah. Because otherwise, I think you limit your perspective. Yeah, no, that's true. That's why, for a lot of times, you ask me who it is, and I know I listen to those guys, but they're not the first ones that come to mind just because of the fact that it's so random. Yeah. Like to go to, and I do a lot of that in my life as well. If I can't sleep, I will randomly go onto Netflix in the middle of the night and watch the first season of Downton Abbey because nothing happens. Yeah. And there's no electricity. Yeah. So the lighting isn't very bright. Put it on sleep, and I'm in bed within 20 minutes.
That's awesome. That's my Planet Earth.
There you
go. Or Chef's Plate. Yeah. Both those are kind of my soothe to sleep shows. It's awesome. Anything else you want to leave marketers, retailers, any other nuggets of knowledge or inspirational quotes?
I don't know about nuggets or quotes. I think it's just, the world's changing. Yeah. Retail is not imploding. It's just evolving the same way that music and television and all these other industries have done when it came to connections and the internet. And I think it's really, look for opportunities and be focused and be curious because ultimately, if you continue to evolve with the focus on your customer and what they're looking for and sort of delivering on your brand and product promise, you're going to be successful. Okay. And you can be successful no matter what channel you're doing. Yeah. But if you can connect the two, you have this amazing synergy that will drive your business and amplify it much faster than if you just focus on one or focus on on channels independently.
That's awesome. Do you think I could get away with a jacket like that?
Definitely.
Okay. And you also have down jackets?
Yes, we do.
You do have down? Okay.
Yeah.
I've fallen in love with the idea of a down jacket because I feel like it's a warm hug on me all the time. And I need that for Vancouver weather. It's because it's so wet and cold right now.
Come October, we'll have packable jackets in about 6 different colors. As well as if, it'll have a hood. Yeah. And then if you don't like the hood, wait for December and you'll have the same opportunities to buy it, but without a hood as well.
Really? So, can I get patches? Or patches won't work on down because
patches poke the down and ultimately the feathers go.
Yeah, we don't want that.
Which doesn't work, but you can have a jacket like this with patches.
Yeah.
And bags too.
Yeah. Well, thanks for being on our show.
Thank you.
This was really great. We're here at DX3 with the Marketing Jam show. You've heard from again, another one of the brightest and smartest people in marketing and retail today. They've come here to convene for 2 days to talk about where is the future of retail and marketing headed. I love that term. Retail is not dead; it's evolving. So that's a really encouraging point, and a lot of great points of inspiration and thoughts from, again, a market leader in our country, and I feel like a real staple that defines who Canadians are. along with Tim Hortons and a few other really Canadian brands, you are up there and a part of our DNA as a Canadian. So thanks for making
this was
time.
fun.
Cheers.